Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered.
Top 1. When it comes to rare and valuable coins in American history, the Lincoln Wheat Penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors, and among these, the 1949 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny has become something of a hidden gem. This seemingly ordinary copper coin, bearing the humble face of President Abraham Lincoln, has a legacy far greater than most would imagine. At first glance, it may appear like any other wheat penny produced during the mid-20th century, but beneath its familiar surface lies a story of scarcity, minting precision, and numismatic intrigue that has captivated collectors across generations. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, first introduced in 1909, was designed by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. With its bold, iconic portrait on the front and the twin wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse, it stood as a symbol of strength, unity, and a new chapter in U.S. coinage. The 1949 issue was part of the final decade of wheat penny production before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. By that point, the wheat penny had already become one of the most widely circulated and beloved coins in America, and the 1949 release added to this proud tradition. But what separates an ordinary 1949 penny from a rare and extremely valuable one? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and minting anomalies. While millions of 1949 pennies were produced across different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a few were struck under conditions or with characteristics that would later elevate their value to astonishing levels. Some 1949 wheat pennies are known for subtle yet significant die errors, such as doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These variations, often invisible to the untrained eye, become the holy grail for sharp-eyed collectors who understand that even a small difference in detail can transform a common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. Even more important than error types, however, is the condition of the coin. Most 1949 pennies spent decades in circulation, passing through the hands of millions of Americans. They were pocket change, tucked into jars, lost in couch cushions, or carried in wallets. The result? Nearly all surviving examples are heavily worn, but a rare few somehow escape this fate. These pristine coins, struck sharply and preserved in brilliant, uncirculated condition, are incredibly difficult to find. When graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, they can receive ultra-high grades such as MS-67 or MS-68 red, an indicator of their mint brilliance and untouched copper luster. These rare, high-grade 1949 Lincoln Wheat pennies have become the centerpiece of many elite coin collections. Their value lies not just in their age, but in their immaculate condition and historical significance. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that has defied the wear and tear of 7 decades, retaining its original beauty and detail. That level of preservation is what drives competitive bidding at auctions and skyrockets the value of these coins far beyond their humble 1-cent face value. It's no surprise that stories continue to emerge of coin collectors and even unsuspecting individuals stumbling upon valuable versions of this coin in old coin albums, inherited collections, or dusty storage boxes. And when these rare 1949 wheat pennies do surface, the demand is fierce. With the allure of rarity, American history, and the thrill of discovery, it's easy to understand why these coins are so treasured in the numismatic world. In one of the most remarkable cases, a beautifully preserved example of the 1949 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny was sold for an eye-opening $280,000. Top 2. When it comes to American coinage, few coins capture the imagination and excitement of collectors like the legendary Lincoln Wheat Penny. And among the most talked about and sought after of them all is the 1944 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. At first glance, it may look like just another old coin, a faded copper piece you might find buried in an attic box or lying unnoticed in a pile of spare change. But beneath its unassuming surface lies a story rich with history, wartime mystery, and unexpected value that has made this penny one of the most fascinating treasures in the world of numismatics. The year 1944 was a significant one for the United States and for the world. It was a time of global war, sacrifice, and national unity. Every corner of American life was shaped by World War II, including the U.S. Mint. The previous year, in 1943, the mint had taken the unprecedented step of changing the composition of the penny from its traditional copper to steel coated with zinc, conserving copper for the war effort. These 1943 steel pennies had their own strange appeal, light, silvery, and magnetic. But in 1944, the mint returned to using copper, reclaiming leftover shell casings from military training grounds and recycling them into coinage. This return to copper was meant to be straightforward, but in the chaos of war production, something remarkable happened. Among the countless millions of copper 1944 wheat pennies struck that year, an incredibly rare few were minted on leftover steel planchets from 1943. These transitional era coins are a numismatic miracle and exceedingly rare. Even among the regular copper 1944 wheat pennies, collectors obsess over specific varieties, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, or high-grade uncirculated examples with rich original luster. What makes the 1944 penny so exciting is not only the mystery behind its wartime history, but the variety of mint errors and conditions that make some versions extremely desirable and, in some cases, shockingly valuable. The wheat reverse, which had adorned the penny since 1909, remained in 1944, showing two stylized ears of wheat encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum above. The obverse still featured the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of American perseverance and dignity, all the more meaningful during a time of global conflict. The design is classic, but within that familiar face, there lies the possibility of something extraordinary. Imagine the surprise of a collector or dealer who examines what seems to be just another old penny, only to discover a minting error or a pristine condition that sets it apart from the rest. While most 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies in circulation today are worth little more than face value or a few dollars depending on condition, there exist those exceptional specimens, flawless, rare, and highly coveted, that fetch staggering prices in auctions and private sales. These pennies aren't just collectibles, they're tangible links to the past, forged in a time when the country was at war and every piece of metal had a purpose. For collectors, the thrill is in the hunt, scouring coin rolls, estate sales, old boxes, and dealer inventories in hopes of discovering the one penny that breaks all expectations. And for a select few, that dream has become a reality. One such 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, struck in exceptional condition with a rare error and unmatched preservation, changed hands for the breathtaking sum of $330,000. Top 3. When most people think of a penny, they imagine a simple, copper-colored coin hardly worth a second glance. But in the world of coin collecting, even a humble 1-cent piece can transform into a prized treasure. One remarkable example of this transformation is the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that has stirred excitement and fascination among collectors for decades. It's easy to overlook a penny minted over 70 years ago, especially when billions were produced. Yet, in the small details, the precise conditions, and rare errors of the minting process, this otherwise common coin becomes something truly extraordinary. The Lincoln wheat penny has always held a special place in the hearts of American collectors. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this coin marked a significant departure from the more classical designs of previous U.S. coinage. Its obverse features a bold and lifelike profile of President Lincoln, making it the first regular-issue American coin to honor a historical figure. On the reverse, two stylized wheat ears arc around the words 1 cent, giving this coin its familiar nickname, the wheat penny. It was a design that stood as a symbol of simplicity and national pride during the first half of the 20th century. By the time 1952 came around, the United States Mint had refined its production processes, and most coins were made with incredible consistency. However, even with the best efforts of technology and quality control, the occasional anomaly still slipped through the cracks. These are the coins that spark the most interest today. The rare 1952 Lincoln wheat penny that has captured the attention of the numismatic world wasn't just preserved in excellent condition. It featured subtle distinctions and minting irregularities that made it one of a kind. From off-center strikes to double-die obverse, and even planchet composition anomalies, it's these imperfections that make a coin unique and incredibly valuable. One of the major appeals of the 1952 wheat penny lies in its age and symbolic relevance. The early 1950s were a time of rebuilding, optimism, and shifting social dynamics in the U.S. Following the upheaval of World War II, Americans were stepping into a new era of prosperity and technological advancement. A coin from that time serves not just as a monetary tool, but as a living relic of a moment in American history. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of the past, one that has traveled through pockets, drawers, and decades to find itself in pristine condition, untouched by time. Now imagine this. You're sorting through an old coin jar, or perhaps flipping through a dusty collection inherited from a grandparent, and you come across a 1952 Lincoln Wheat penny that looks unusually sharp. Its edges are crisp, its luster still gleams under the light, and everything about it seems just a bit more perfect than the average coin. You decide to have it graded and authenticated, and to your astonishment, it's deemed one of the finest known examples. It contains that rare mix of history, quality, and character that collectors crave. Such a coin is no longer worth a single cent. It becomes a centerpiece, a conversation starter, and an investment that turns a humble penny into a headline. The thrill of this hobby lies in these incredible possibilities. Sometimes, all it takes is one overlooked detail or hidden error to change everything. That's why collectors scour their change, visit coin shows, and study their coins under magnifying glasses, because even the most modest of coins can carry tremendous value. And in the case of the 1952 Lincoln Wheat penny, one such rare and immaculate specimen once fetched the astonishing sum of $278,000. Top 4. In the ever-evolving world of coin collecting, few coins have earned the level of admiration and intrigue that the Lincoln Wheat penny series continues to command. Among these timeless treasures, one particular date stands out with a quiet confidence: the 1957 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin, just another copper penny from mid-20th century America, but as any experienced numismatist will tell you, sometimes the most unassuming coins carry the richest stories and the greatest surprises. The 1957 wheat penny, with its bold depiction of Abraham Lincoln and elegant wheat ears on the reverse, is more than just currency. It is a symbol of a bygone era and a reflection of minting mastery that continues to spark fascination across generations. Let's journey back to 1957, a time when America was riding the post-war economic boom, and the country found itself on the cusp of modern transformation. Rock and roll was shaking up radio waves, cars were getting fins, and the Cold War was thick in the air. Yet, amidst all this cultural and political turbulence, everyday Americans continued to carry with them coins like the Lincoln Wheat penny, coins that were exchanged for groceries, comic books, and school lunches. The 1957 penny came in two main varieties: those minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and those from Denver bearing the D mint mark. Both were struck in the familiar bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, continuing the composition that had been used for decades. Over 1.3 billion of these coins were produced, making it one of the more common dates in the wheat penny series. So what, you might ask, could possibly make one of them worth an astronomical fortune? The answer lies in the extraordinary circumstances of minting and preservation. While most of the 1957 wheat pennies were quickly worn down in circulation, a small number remained untouched by human hands and shielded from the corrosive elements of time. These coins, often found in original mint rolls or proof-like sets, have survived with stunning brilliance, showing immaculate detail from Lincoln's cheekbones to the delicate lines of the wheat stalks. Some of these coins also exhibit rare minting errors, such as doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. When such features combine with an uncirculated, high-grade condition, typically certified by grading giants like PCGS or NGC, they create a perfect storm of desirability in the collector's market. Coin collectors, especially those who specialize in Lincoln cents, are known for their passion and attention to detail. They study luster, strike sharpness, rim integrity, and even the spacing of lettering to determine a coin's grade and value. The highest graded examples of the 1957 wheat penny have not only survived time, they've triumphed over it. These coins reflect a moment frozen in copper, and when one surfaces in perfect or nearly flawless condition, the buzz within the coin collecting community is electric. Auctions heat up, and bidding wars erupt as collectors and investors alike vie for the chance to own a piece of numismatic perfection. Now imagine being the person who stumbles upon such a coin, perhaps found in a box of old change passed down from a grandparent. or in a forgotten piggy bank tucked away in an attic. What might seem like a worthless relic of yesterday could, in fact, be a jaw-dropping windfall. It's happened before, and it will happen again, because the world of rare coins thrives on the unexpected. Every old penny is a mystery, and every coin tells a story. But among the countless 1957 wheat pennies that once jingled in pockets and purses across America, one exceptional specimen shattered expectations and made history by selling for an eye-popping total of 248. Top 5. In the vast and captivating universe of numismatics, certain coins emerge not merely as collectibles, but as historical artifacts, silent witnesses to an earlier America. One such gem is the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, a small yet profoundly significant piece of metal that continues to spark curiosity, admiration, and even envy among coin collectors across the globe. At first glance, it may appear to be an ordinary coin, just another bronze-colored cent. But to those who know what to look for, this particular penny holds stories, mysteries, and immense value that defies its humble denomination. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, features the 16th president's solemn profile on the obverse. What made these coins especially iconic was the inclusion of two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent on the reverse, a symbol of prosperity, harvest, and national strength. This reverse design remained in use until 1958, making the 1954 edition one of the later members of this distinguished family of coins. But it wasn't just the design that gave this penny its charm. It was the era in which it was minted and the astonishingly rare errors and variations that came from it. 1954 was a unique year for the U.S. Mint. The country was recovering from the Korean War, and a period of optimism and rapid economic growth was sweeping the nation. The Denver and San Francisco mints were producing large quantities of coins, yet it is precisely during times of high production that mistakes can occur, and those mistakes, when preserved in pristine condition, are what collectors dream of finding. Some 1954 wheat pennies were struck with off-center errors, doubled dies, or even on leftover planchets from other denominations. These rare variants, hidden among millions of standard coins, are what elevate the 1954 penny from ordinary to extraordinary. What truly makes this coin a standout, however, is not just the possibility of a rare mint error. It's the condition in which some of these coins have been preserved. While most pennies from this year show heavy signs of wear after decades of circulation, a select few have survived in exceptional quality. These uncirculated or high-grade examples, especially those graded MS 66 or above by certified grading services, can be shockingly valuable. Their sharp details, vibrant luster, and original mint shine offer a glimpse into what the coin looked like the moment it left the press over 70 years ago. The fascination with the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is not just about rarity or condition. It's about the thrill of the hunt. Coin collectors and enthusiasts from every walk of life scour their change jars, estate sales, and antique shops in hopes of stumbling upon one of these elusive coins. And for those lucky enough to find a rare 1954 penny, the reward can be life-changing. It represents not just a monetary windfall, but also a direct connection to the rich tapestry of American history, commerce, and art. And so, as we reflect on this unassuming little coin, a piece of copper no bigger than a thumbnail, it's worth remembering that hidden value often lies in the most unexpected places. One extraordinary specimen of the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, distinguished by its rarity and impeccable condition, was once sold for an astonishing $268,000.